going to take an in-depth look. Now, if we go to verse 19 and 21, it states that there was a certain rich man who was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at the gate full of sores, and designed to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his wounds. We see a contrast already. The rich man dressed and he ate well. He not longer did it one day, he did it how many days? Every day. He looked good. He did dress to impress every day. I imagine that he put on his rings and his gold chain and he had on his silk flowing. He had it going on. But on the contrary, a contrast, there was a man named who? Lazarus. He wasn't rich. He was a beggar. He was poor. He was laid at the gate. And I imagine he couldn't move because he was what? Laid at the gate. He was immobile, full of sores. He only desired to be what? Fed. And then just anything that falls from the table. The rich, and to give a summary of those three verses, the rich man prospered and Lazarus suffered how many days? Lazarus suffered every day. Lazarus couldn't afford them. He couldn't move. He couldn't eat. He couldn't get medical attention. He was laying at the gate begging. The rich man had everything. But bad enough, the rich man, Lazarus' only companions were who? The dogs. His only companions were dogs. And back then, they didn't look at dogs how we look at dogs today. Dogs was considered filthy animals. And I often wondered, I said, you know what? If the dogs was there and he trying to eat, how he gonna get some food? Because you think the dog gonna share? You think they were that kind and say, hey, you go ahead and eat this piece? And we're gonna eat this other piece? That ain't how it works. A dog is gonna take care of himself. So we have a man out there starving, looking for crumbs, need medical attention, in need, laid at the gate of somebody who had what? Everything. Now, in verse 22 through 26, I'm going to come out the NLT version. Yeah, quiet. Yeah. Real quiet. Okay. Finally, the poor man died and was carried by angels to sit beside Abraham at the heavenly banquet. The rich man also died and was buried and went to the place of death. There in torment he saw Abraham in afar, distant from Lazarus at his side. The rich man shouted, Father Abraham, have some pity. Send over Lazarus here to dip the tip of his finger in water. Cool my tongue. I am in anguish in these flames. But Abraham said to him, Son, remember that during your lifetime you had everything you wanted. And Lazarus had nothing. So now he is being comforted and you are in anguish. And besides, there was a great chasing between us. No one can come to you from here, and no one can cross over to us from there. Let's stop right there. Reverse just happened. Now the rich man had heaven on earth. I thank my wife for that. He had heaven on earth. He had the money. He had a gated house. He had food. He had the finest clothes. He had a family. But on earth, He had everything. But when he died alone. He died with nothing. He couldn't take his wealth with him. And he didn't even have a name. It wasn't worth remembering. You know why? Because his name went in the book of life. That's why you don't hear his name right now. He wasn't worth announcing. Because we don't want to be like the rich man. So he don't need a name. Right? Reverse again. Lazarus is not alone. He was carried off by who? Angels. He was cared for. Lazarus got a lot of no mores. No more pain. No more suffering. No more hunger. No more homeless. And he get the best thing of all. Guess what he get to do? He get to see Jesus. Come on now. And how ironic it is that Lazarus' name means God has helped. Now, the rich man is a beggar now. Is it? He reversed it. Now, who begging now? The rich man lifted up his eyes being tormented, right? He saw Father Abraham across from Lazarus in his bosom. And the rich man is a beggar now. He began begging to Abraham. But who did he not beg to? He didn't beg to God. He didn't beg to God. So he didn't know who to call out to. So he had to be without God in his life. He thought about himself. Let's keep going. He was begging for what? A tip of the water. What was Lazarus begging for? For crumbs, right? How things is reversed. A beggar is now comforted. Now the comforted is not begging. You see that? We got to watch what we do, y'all. You got to be careful who you turn your back on. You got to be careful. You don't know who needs you. And I want y'all to be vigilant. Now, I'm going to add this here. Ain't no way he could have missed Lazarus at that gate. Who house he was at? If somebody laying at your gate, are you going to say something? He out there again. As long as he don't get across that gate, though. That's all the rich man said. As long as he don't come across the gate. They throwing out food. Straps. He's fighting dogs to eat. But not anymore. Let's get back to the rich man. Now the rich man is in pain. The rich man never learned his lesson. Did he? He treated Lazarus like a servant. But guess what? Because let me get back to that point. He told Abraham to tell Lazarus to give me the tip of his finger. Okay. Still he's not humble. Still had looked at Lazarus like it was nothing. Still. But guess what this time? Just like how it was for the beggar, the answer's going to be no. No, we're not going to give you a tip of water. No. Because it was no for Lazarus. Verse 25, and we already went over this, but it said, but Abraham said to him, son, remember that during your lifetime you had everything you wanted. Right. Lazarus had nothing, and you being comforted. And you are in anguish, plus there's a chase separating us. Chasing. Now, Abraham should have just told him that you ain't let Lazarus in. We're not going to let you in either. That's in short term. Come on. That's what will happen. He wanted some comfort. He wanted somebody to care about him. But you're talking about somebody who didn't care. About somebody that's right at his doorstep. The rich man started begging again. He said, send Lazarus to my 5 brothers. But Abraham refused. He said, if they not hear Moses and the prophet, neither will they be persuaded through the one who rose from the dead. That's a powerful verse right there. We have the word in our hand, right? Preachers are preaching the word. But do we hear the word? Are we doers of the word? We love to say it. But do we understand how important this word is? Do you understand that there's consequences for your actions? For what you do and what you don't do? Understand